You alright there guys? Today I'm going to show you 5 different ways of how to make amazing sushi. Welcome back to the channel. I'm going to be showing you my tips and tricks on how to make awesome homemade sushi. And here it all starts with the rice. And you can get sushi rice in your supermarket, but any short grain rice will actually do. So we've weighed out our rice, 800 grams, and we're going to go straight into a pan. And then we're going to take the pan to the sink and we need to wash the rice thoroughly. So get stuck in there with your hands and make sure you're getting all that milky, creamy starchiness off it. You're going to want to rinse it through about 5 or 6 times until the water runs nice and clear, like this. And when the rice is nice and clean, we're going to top it with the equal amounts of water. So we're topping it with 800 milliliters and then sticking it straight onto a really high flame to heat up as fast as we can. We're even going to put a lid on to make it go faster. Once you get it to a rolling boil, turn the flame down, give it a very gentle stir. This just loosens up all the big clumps. Then just let it sit for 10 minutes on a low heat until all the water is gone. So while that's cooking, we're going to make our seasoning vinegar that we're going to use to season the rice afterwards. So into a small pan, pour 200 milliliters of rice wine vinegar, 75 milliliters of mirin, 60 grams of sugar, and 12 grams of salt. Give that a little mix and take it to the heat, and you want to bring it up to just before it boils. You just want to dissolve the sugar and the salt. Now as we check our rice, you can see all the water is gone. So we're going to turn off the gas and leave it to sit for another 10 minutes. Do not touch it, just leave it and let it steam like a mini sauna. Then just pour out your seasoning vinegar into a jug just to slightly cool down a little bit. And then after the 10 minutes, take your rice and pour it out into a long flat tray. And you're going to start spreading it out with the spatula in a kind of choppy motion as to not squash the rice together. And then over the back of the spatula, we're going to be pouring the seasoning vinegar. This is to make sure that it disperses across the rice properly. And then again, we're going to do a nice little choppy motion all the way through the rice. This is to help cool it down and to mix in all that vinegar. You don't want to be smoothing it down like this. This will make all your rice go all clumpy and soggy. But after you're happy with it being fully mixed in, we're on to our veg. So let's start with a cucumber. Fasten your board to your work surface with a wet cloth. Make sure it's nice and stable. And then we're going to slice off the sides of the cucumber like this, going all the way around and leaving the seeds. And then we're going to turn them cucumber cheeks into nice little battens. Then for the spring onion, we're just going to take off the outer layer. Simply give it a nice chop all the way up to the white bit. And then put it into a sieve and run it under the cold water, and we're going to break them up with our fingers. This is going to make them go almost like translucent. It gets rid of that sliminess and it brings out a nice crispiness to it. So just lay them out over a paper towel to drain, and we're onto a nice spicy mayonnaise. So into a bowl, place 5 nice tablespoons of mayonnaise, 1.5 tablespoons of sriracha, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of mirin, and a good grind of black pepper. And then just adjust the levels to your own taste. If you like it more spicy, put more spice in it. Now onto the prawns. I'm going to show you a nice easy way to peel and devein them. Start by grabbing it with the legs and literally just rub your thumb all the way around the outside of the prawn, like this. And the skin should just come straight off. Keep the tails on though, they'll look nice sticking out of our sushi later on. And then if you don't already have them, I highly recommend getting yourself a small pair of tweezers. They are perfect for stuff like this. So you just want to find the vein, stick your tweezers in, don't squeeze too hard, but gently pull, and it should just slide straight out of the back. Then do the same to all the rest. And we're going to want this prawn to be as flat as possible. So lay it upside down and just score it at the inside with a knife so it loosens all them tendons on the inside. And then we're going to stick a skewer down its neck just to keep it extra straight. Then set yourself up a little breading station. In one tray, flour, in the middle, a beaten egg, and at the far side, a tray of panko breadcrumbs. So first into the flour, knock off the excess, then into the egg wash, and then into the panko breadcrumbs. Make sure it's fully covered all the way around. Then do the same to all of them, and then into a fryer at 180 degrees, we're going to drop them for about 3 minutes, or until they're nicely golden brown. And when they're ready, just take them out and drop them onto some paper towel just to let all the oil drain off, and give them a little seasoning as well. And now it's onto the salmon. Just run your fingers down the side of the salmon just to see if there's any of them pin bones still left in there, and if there is, you need to remove them. This one had nothing. And I'm not going to use all this, so I'm going to chop it in half, and then I'm going to slice down the middle as well, just to make it a more manageable sized piece. And then, like an idiot, realise that you forgot to de-skin it. So just run your knife under the corner, get enough so you can get a handle on it, flip it over, and gently prise the skin away from the meat, like this, trying to leave as much salmon on the actual salmon as possible. And then we're going to slice this part off down the middle, leaving the nice belly part for the sashimi. But first we're just going to trim up this side of the salmon. We're just going to slice it into batons. Nice and simple. And then for the sashimi, I've chosen to use the belly part of the salmon because it's got a nice fat running through it and gives it a beautiful flavour and texture. So you just want to slice this into about centimetre thick pieces, flipping it round as you put it onto the board so that the fat side is facing up, as this just makes it look nicer. And then we're on to quickly dicing up our tuna. Nothing too fancy here. just sticking it in a bowl, a little bit of that spicy mayonnaise, a good splash of lime just to give it a nice little zing, a touch more soy sauce, and then give it a good mix round. And we're almost ready to start putting this sushi together. Another little tip right now, cover your sushi roller in plastic. This will help the rice stop sticking and keep your whole work surface nice and clean and tidy. So just make sure you wrap the cling film around the sushi roller nice and tight, running your arm across to get rid of all them air bubbles, and then folding it up just to make sure you really get all the air out. And if there is any, just give it a little paste with your knife and that'll just get rid of any extra bubbles you have. Okay, so now we're going to be on to making Maki, which is one of the most common forms of sushi you can get in Japan. You want to start by trimming off about 5 centimeters of the nori, and then lay it out on your sushi roller. Have a bowl of water nearby so you can slightly dampen your hands. Then pick up a good amount of rice, lay it out flat on about 3/4 of the seaweed, making sure to press it firmly against the seaweed, but not too much, you don't want to be squashing it, and leave a couple of specks of rice at the top like I'm doing there. This will act as a glue when we seal it. Now it's time to fill it, so lay across some avocado, then top it with some of the cucumber batons, then lay across some of the panko breadcrumbs prawns. Make sure you take out the skewer first though. And lay it so the tail is sticking out of each side. Then slather on some of that spicy mayonnaise, and then just gently roll up one side, and just give it a little squeeze, then roll it a little bit more, give it another little squeeze, then roll it a little bit more, and give it another little squeeze, till it's all nice and compact, and you have your first little sushi roll. So you want to wet a nice sharp knife, this will stop it from sticking, and slice it into 6 pieces, and just to make it a better form at the end, throw your mat back over the top and just squeeze it together one more time. Then run your knife underneath just to loosen it from the work surface, transfer it to your plate of choice, and it's on to the next one where I'm going to show you how to make uramaki, where the rice is on the outside and it's more popular in the western side of the world. So start with folding your nori seaweed in half so we get 2 equal pieces. And then same again, lay it on your sushi roller, wet your hands, grab some rice, but this time lay it across the whole seaweed. And then we're going to sprinkle with a touch of sesame seeds and then flip it over as we're going to fill it on the other side. So start with a touch of Philadelphia cream cheese that I've put into a nice little piping bag. Lay on some of your baton salmon, top it again with cucumber and then some of the spring onions, then a touch of avocado, slather on some more of that spicy mayonnaise. Then, like an idiot, realise that you've put it on the wrong way around, so give it a little spin so you can actually roll this thing up. Then making sure the ingredients on the inside stay on the inside, roll it up, nice and firm, give it a little squeeze so it all fastens together. Then put it over the top again and press your palm against the sides of the sushi, just to keep it all nice and compact. Then again, wet your knife, chop this into 8, and place it on a board, nice and beautifully, arranging it with the beautiful sashimi that we made earlier on. Now quickly onto Temaki. Use the other half of the nori that we made earlier on, and we want to get some rice, same again, but place it only on one half of the nori, like this. Then top it with some cucumber, some avocado, throw in some of that spicy tuna, top it with sesame seeds, and then picking it up in your hand, roll it round into a cone shape. But with that loose flap that comes all the way around the outside, get a little grain of rice and stick it together and use it like glue. Then just top it with some spring onions and some more sesame seeds, lay it on a board, ready for serving. And now it's on to the nigiri. So slice off some nice rectangles of beautiful salmon. Again, wet your hands, but only grab a touch of rice now. You want to make almost like an oval shape in your hand before grabbing a piece of salmon and laying the rice over the top of it and pressing it into the palm of your hand. And then just to finish off, we're going to slice off some of the nori and wrap it around the middle like a little present, make it look nice and beautiful. And then just lay out all your sushi together for the camera to see, all nice and beautiful. Pick one up with some chopsticks actually from Japan. Dip it in a bit of soy and just enjoy how beautiful this recipe is. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe for more, do all that stuff, and remember, just keep cooking.